Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the August 14th, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I want to welcome you today. It's a lovely, sunny August 14th. The sky is fairly clear, a few clouds. We're supposed to have rain, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to a concert tonight. I'm going to see the lovely Taylor Swift. So my daughter has got me going to Taylor Swift today, so I've got to do a little bit of teen time. So it's going to be interesting. And this is actually my third Taylor Swift concert, but it's a little bit stressful because there's so many screaming girls. So we'll see how I do. I'm pretty empathetic, or empathic, I guess is a better word for it. So we'll see if I can manage to make it through. I think I can because I really like her music too, and my daughter just loves when I get into it. So not your typical teenager, but yeah, we have a pretty good relationship. So it'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a good time today. So wish me luck. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about as usual because lots of planetary aspects. Actually, I was just setting up here trying to get all of my ducks in a row and see what's what today. But we actually have Mars getting close to going direct, and Mercury is close to going direct. Let me see. I thought Mars went direct. I was keeping an eye on it. The Uranus went direct last week. That's what it is. Oh, I know what it was. Mars went into Capricorn. I knew there was something. So a lot of activity going on in the sky today. And so, well, always, this is just a really, really busy summer. Okay, so let's just kind of reiterate. So on the 7th of this month, Uranus went direct. We had a solar eclipse on the 11th, and that was in the sign of Leo. Today is my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. I don't think he listens to the show very much, but if he does, happy birthday. And my son's was on the 6th also, so a lot of Leo energy in my family. Mars went into Capricorn at 10:14 on Sunday night. Today we have a moon at 5 degrees Libra, 2 degrees away from Venus. So that means that there's a lot of strong female energy, and of course, no one knows that better than I today. So anyway, there's an inconjunct of Venus and the moon to Uranus today, which means there is going to be a questioning of authority, personal power, and probably something going on with the stock market. Again, there's always something going on with the stock market, but in this case, it's probably more related to technology and an inconjunct because it happens. Uranus rules technology, it rules mass communications, and it's in the sign of money and value and people. So today it's got a lot of energy around relationships, women getting their needs met, women having balance with a relationship, and also the energy of value. Are you a valuable person? Are you seen as a valuable person? And do you have power in the relationship? Because that's what Uranus is about. Uranus is about autonomy, and it's in conflict with the energy of Venus, which rules Libra and rules Taurus. And so she is saying, I'm not comfortable with how things are going. To add fuel to the fire, Uranus in Taurus is retrograde. So she is, of course, the ruler of Uranus, but she's not able to get out the information or the understanding of the situation the way she would like. And this is going to go on into next year. I'm going to actually call up next year's ephemeris here on the internet. If you're wondering what an ephemeris is, because this is a new thing for you learning about astrology, an ephemeris is a table of the planetary positions over the course of time. So it tells me, I'll just tell you what it tells me. It tells me where the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, the North Node, the South Node, and a couple asteroids, including Chiron, are at any day. So I use this ephemeris to quickly zip through the years and the months, or, you know, usually I only up like this year, last year, and next year. And right now I only have this year and next year. So I can go quickly to any day of the month in this next year. And it tells me where the planets will be, including the moon. So that's what I just called up. So it kind of gives me an eyeball. I like it because when I do a reading, it helps me get directly to the information in a visual manner, because I'm an artist and a visual learner. So when I can see it all laid out for me, and there's symbols there, and there's lines of numbers, basically, of what degree a planet is in any particular sign, I can see by the symbol that, hey, it's in Virgo at 1 degree on, like, say, July 11th. Venus was at 1 degree Virgo, so it went into Virgo July 11th, eyeballing it. It doesn't give me the exact time of day, so it may have gone in late in the night before, but then it just shows up that day. But it's a really great tool to kind of eyeball what's going on in the sky right now. And so having this moon come up on Venus, it means that we are very emotional and sensitive and connected in a creative way, which is Venus, to mother energy or home energy, and we want balance. We want to connect, but there is a certain amount of discord with the ability to be autonomous and have our own shots. So that energy is in the sky right now. Of course, moon is going to be going over Venus and then moving on to later degrees throughout the day. So in the morning, particularly, the moon is in concert or in conjunct with Venus, and that is mother energy, feminine energy, sister, friends who are female, or feminine nature in men. So we have that more strongly and more focused right now. And then the balance, of course, is marriage and partnership in conjunct to Uranus retrograde. It means that there could be the energy of breaking up in a couple, in a situation, but Uranus will go direct. And again, when you do things under retrograde, there's a boomerang effect. You're going to probably go through it again, or have that particular situation come back into your world in the future. So while you may feel very strongly that this isn't working and I'm very uncomfortable in this relationship, as Uranus is in that negative aspect, very pointed. But as Uranus continues to move retrograde, he will get back into Aries. And then also, like I said, the moon goes over Venus and kind of gets away from this particular aspect. And over the next couple days, will come into an opposition with Uranus, and then there will be, like, whatever is going on today in a short term, what happens today may be the awareness of a discord within that partnership or relationship. And then when the moon moves into the direct opposition of Scorpio, then that brings it into the emotions, into the darker realm. So in Libra, it's about the idea, the concept. It's not feeling right somehow. And then it goes into Scorpio, and then you may learn the truth. You may learn other information about that situation, about the relationship. And then it's an opposition. So it can mean that there's stress put on the relationship to change and move and grow. And then you'll feel that happening and coming to fruition. And so that will happen when moon goes into Scorpio. So that happens the 16th, Thursday at 4:54 a.m. Eastern, and lasts until Saturday. And so we're going to have that energy going on pretty strong. So it's very much about relationships over the next few days. Not only that, but today, of course, we still have the North Node in Leo. We have Mercury retrograde at 12 degrees Leo. It's only 7 degrees away from the North Node. So there are some lessons and information coming in about how we communicate and how we express, how we are creative. And then Sun at 21 Leo means that we are now moving into a mutable area of Leo, where it's actually starting to act more cooperative and really moving more towards shift, as opposed to being between, say, 0 and 20. So the first 10 degrees will bring a change in expression, and then the middle 10 degrees will settle us into that particular energy in our egos. So it's much more about being larger than life. And then in the last degrees, we're actually to come to terms with the energy of Leo and then moving towards the next phase, which is the sun entering Virgo. So as the sun is in the latter degrees, it's more mutable. It's saying, hey, I'm going to test this out. Is it correct? Is it going to work? If not, maybe there's something else that can be done. And for me, I kind of see it as a gradient. So instead of being so black and white, which the middle 10 degrees of a sign can be very stern and say, no, this is who I am and this is the way I need to be in myself and my ego and what I want to achieve. The last degrees of a sign are more evaluation and shifting, changing, absorbing other energy. And so it's more creative, but also more expressive and not quite so dogmatic and strict. So the sun today is in conjunct to Pluto. So there is a very strong energy around a shift with the ego, with the story we tell, with connecting to other people. Friendships can take a hit when Pluto is in aspect. So people born today or in this vicinity may have more of a year-around shift of life. Like there's a very big shift in the structure of how you deal with people, especially those in authority, father figures, being a father figure, government. I know that this is coming up in a very close aspect to Trump's rising sign. I think he has like a 29 degree or 28 degree Leo rising. So it's really close to that shift point. And so it means a lot of upheaval. It means digging deep into the old story that has been brought up in the past because Pluto is now retrograde. So it's the psychological and emotional feelings of something that has recently been in our world. And we're now having to reevaluate that. We're having to go, is this really something that I can live with? If you can't live with it, then change has to be made because that's what Pluto does for us. And specifically in Capricorn, change of structure. Now, illustration of that, I was just looking at some highlights of the news today and saw the bridge. I think it was a bridge in Germany that collapsed and 11 people didn't make it because that bridge collapsed. That is the destruction of something, which Pluto Capricorn can do. So today specifically, it can be more of a hit to our egos, and we may not feel like the powers that be are supporting our creative endeavors because that inconjunct of creativity and connectedness that Leo Sun has to Pluto is saying, you want to create something, but is that something that's going to help you? Is it something that's going to stay strong for you? Is it a structure that's reliable? And you need to really look at that and adjust things. If it isn't a reliable format for your creativity, it will shift. It will change. Something's going to break, and it's literal right now that break can happen if it's not completely created appropriately and according to a path that you're going to lead in the future. Because remember, Pluto is a process, and it's a process of psychology and fear. In Capricorn, it rules fear and the psychology around your fears. So it's really a strong time of phobia and addressing those phobias. So anyone with that strong Leo in their chart at late degrees today is going to feel this power of resistance. So those are the two inconjuncts in the chart right now. We have a couple, about 4 eyeballing it, 4 squares. And Mercury is squaring Jupiter today, and 12 Leo squaring a 15-degree Jupiter. Again, every time we have this conflict between Leo and Scorpio, we hear stories, and especially Mercury is communication, squaring off against the truth, which is Scorpio, and telling the truth, which is Jupiter, wanting to say, hey, this is what I see, this is what it is. So definitely I see, that either leader or authority figure or your own personal ego, which can puff you up a little bit bigger than life, at odds with what the truth is, what the psychological truth is coming out of our world. And so, we've got that going on. There is a square with, let's see here, Saturn to the Venus Moon junction. And so that means that Saturn is squaring Venus and Saturn is squaring Moon, or the Moon is squaring Saturn because the Moon's a quicker body in heavens. So Moon is mother, Saturn a lot of times is father, or the structure of our careers. So we may be at odds with what's going on with our career. Maybe we're not really getting those needs fulfilled right now. And again, Saturn in Capricorn, it is the physical, tangible path. It is the boss. And Libra wants to balance things. Moon Venus wants to be in the feminine energy, in the receptive mode. Saturn in Capricorn is the authoritarian, wanting us to be more strict. So Moon and Venus is kind of wishy-washy, and it can be because the ultimate goal with Libra is cooperation, and feminine receptive energy is about soft and receptive, and feminine and cooperative. Capricorn, of course, Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's more harsh energy. It's strict, rule-based, structured energy. And that's the conflict. That what we really want right now is to be soft and cooperative, not strict and structured. Because there's an inconjunct to Uranus and a square to Saturn, that means that Saturn and Uranus are in trine today. And Saturn and Uranus are both at 2 degrees, and that means that they are not only talking, but they're both retrograde. So what they're doing is they're kind of stirring things up. Not kind of, probably strongly stirring things up. And they're stirring things up around power structures because, again, Uranus wants to do its own thing. It doesn't want to answer to anyone. In Taurus, it wants to have the freedom to go along a well-worn path and maybe change if it so chooses. Saturn is also giving a story about well-worn path, but in this case, it's talking about we've always done it this way, we want to do it this way, and continue to do it this way. Uranus, by nature, does not want to continue doing things the way they've always done, but there is a certain connection, because it's in Taurus, to groundedness. So it's looking for ways to ground the electrical energy. So what that means is it can be lightning strikes to earth, and earthquakes, because even though they are in trine, which tends to be a cooperative, it's seen as cooperative historically. I see it as always there is a conflict that resolves in an amicable way, that there is something that goes on that gets your attention, and then it can be resolved cooperatively. So look for something that is potentially very big news, because the planets are slow moving and they are having a conversation around what can change to make this what is old and what is tried and true has to be evaluated, because we are in retrograde. When both planets move forward, then they will say, okay, we've both gone retrograde and now we're going to talk to each other direct. And that's when the positive aspect kicks in and we move forward to something more cooperative and tangible. So it can be rules, can be creating some new business venture and growth cycle, et cetera, et cetera. We've got Mars today squaring Uranus as well on the other side at the other end of Capricorn. And I'm just looking, so there's a trine with Saturn to Uranus, but there's a square with Saturn at 29, just went back in, like I said, on Sunday. And so he is in square, even though he's in a sign that seems compatible, they're both in earth signs, he is actually squaring, but at last degrees of the sign of Capricorn. That means he is back telling the story of wrapping up an old story that we're trying to move forward. So Capricorn really wants it to stay the way it's always been. We have stories in our lives around that. Like, where is it that it feels really uncomfortable to change? We don't want to change. It's been this way. I don't want to change. I want it to be the same. Pluto said, no, you don't understand. There is a growth cycle here that's going on for the next 5 years as it moves closer to Aquarius, and it is about the deep psychological that held us back from our own growth and our own stability. And so Mars is the impetus, it's the drive behind that movement, and it's going to hit that particular area every 2 years. So it takes about 2 years for Mars to go all the way through the zodiac. And every 2 years he retrogrades, and this year is the year. So he's retrograding back through Capricorn. So it is about the structure, the authority, the government. In the case of America, it's about our own country because we were founded under a late 28, I think it was 28 degrees Capricorn Pluto. So Mars is coming into a conjunction again with our own Pluto in our natal chart in America. So we are feeling it deep in the bones, which is a Capricornian imagery. We're feeling it in the country. We're feeling it in the shift that's taking place at our core. And we're seeing the truth of what's really been hidden in our country for many years, for hundreds of years since the founding of this country. And Mars is saying, yeah, we want to make this change because he is a much quicker moving energy in the heavens. And so he has already been through these degrees, and then he got to Aquarius and said, I have my mind set on some amazing things, some unusual solutions and ideas about concepts that we could make happen for this country that would bring cooperation, which is an Aquarian energy, as humanitarianism. But we now have to go back over and clean up the mess we made going through the last degrees of Capricorn. We started it, we have to finish it. And then it feels like we're not able to go forward and move on right now, and that happens in our own lives. I know I feel it. There's a stymied energy, a feeling of I want to move forward, but nothing's moving forward right now. That's coming from Mars. Being at the last degrees, wrapping up the story, and then, hold on one second. Sorry, I just had to clear my throat. So as Mars gets closer and closer to changing back direct, he is going to finish up that story. Mars goes direct on the 27th. Let's just turn over here in our handy ephemeris calendar. And it's going to be pretty profound energy the 27th of August because the full moon in Pisces happens the day before on the 26th. And then Mars goes direct on the 27th. So I'll just tell you some of the notes I have in my calendar throughout the year. I wrote these all in the calendar at the beginning of the year, and it's actually been kind of helpful. I've never done this before, but this year I have been using this, and it's really cool. So Thursday, 16th, we have an active moon, and it's building because we've got it going, that Libra energy making squares to Mars on Thursday early in the morning. Squares Libra to a Capricorn Mars, and then goes into Scorpio. As soon as she gets into Scorpio, she inconjuncts Chiron in Aries, which is a difficult, normally I wouldn't go through a lot of moon cycles and moon aspects, but the moon inconjunct to Chiron in Aries. Aries is the sign of emergencies and blood and aggression, and it can mean a very emotional time. And in Scorpio is in some aspects an even more intense energy. Now you think of Mars. Mars is the god of war. Scorpio is plutonic in how it deals with things. It shifts things on a very deep, intense level. And being the moon in Scorpio is in conjunct to Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, so it's triggering a wounding that we have around aggression, assertive energy. And because the moon again is deeply emotional, and Chiron can be wounding in an aggressive manner in Aries, I would say Thursday is a day to be cautious because there can be much more energy coming up for us, aggressive energy and even violent energy. And this is also an energy that I would say is associated with volcanoes because the lava, the explosions, the movement, the deep from the core of the earth, it's expressed through lava and water or liquid. So that's also going to affect us in that manner. The moon, the same day on Thursday, is opposite Uranus. So there's an opposition to Uranus and an income to Chiron. But then around 10 a.m. Eastern, there's a sextile Saturn. So there is an emotional movement and connectedness to the physical structure. So I would say, honestly, right before the moon goes into Scorpio, there's a square to Mars, and then Mars rules Aries, which is the inconjunct right after. So look for Thursday being pretty active day around acting out, around aggression or assertive energy. And yeah. Anyway, and we're going to skip Friday because there isn't anything sticking out with what I've written, and I'm just going to kind of skip over that because we got time. We've got it. It's already 25 after, and I still have to talk about Mercury going direct. So, and Sun in Leo a little bit. So there's some lucky aspects coming in on Friday and Saturday, and if you take some risks, it's more cooperative for you. So what happens then is Mercury is sextile to Venus in Libra. The moon is sextile to Mars in Capricorn, which is structure and taking positive action around structure and the wrapping up of that. And then of course, Mercury sextile to Venus is cooperation through social aspects. So we're going to talk, we're going to connect, we're going to relate, we're going to feel all lovey-dovey on Friday. And then the moon goes into Sagittarius at 12:45 p.m. Eastern. So when that happens, we're going to have a little bit of lightening of that intense scorpionic energy, which can always make us moody and weepy. And in Sagittarius, it's going to be much more lighthearted and optimistic. And also, because it's the moon, moon is family and home and mothers, it can mean that there is expression of travel energy or fun and playfulness and optimism. And then, of course, the moon will trine Chiron. So it's more cooperation around, well, so that would be a day for firefighters to really get control of some of the fires out west because you've got the moon in Sagittarius. So there's action being taken, deep intuitive action being taken, almost like you can read the fire energy, read the assertive energy. And then Mercury in Leo is in cooperation with the moon, and so that's communicating the right way, communicating the energy, and that's the day that Mercury goes direct. And let's see here. Yeah, Mercury goes direct at 12:25 a.m. on Sunday and also 9:25 p.m. Pacific on Saturday night. So some cooperation going on with what the moon's going to do. So, yeah, early Sunday morning is going to be a really great time to get things done that have been being difficult creatively for us. And so we can look forward to more of that positive energy coming in. Mercury direct in Leo, it's going to be storytellers, and their voices are going to be heard now. So maybe they were trying to speak up before, but no one was listening to them. This month coming up in September, and well, actually, the second half of August, because Mercury goes direct. Let's see where Mercury is in August and into September. So Mercury is at 21 at the beginning of September and goes into Virgo the 7th. So at the beginning, and I don't know if other astrologers do this, but I've started looking at the first day of school. And because so many different school districts start at times, each child is kind of different. But I looked at my daughter's school beginning yesterday, and there were 3 energies in Leo, and so that the North Node, Mercury, and Sun. So it's a very creative year. It's a child-focused year, and that is especially true with my daughter. She's focusing on childhood development as a career path, so that's even more what she's doing. But we also had in Virgo, which is task-oriented, so it's going to be a good, strong year for getting things done. It's also the sign of teachers, so there's a connection to teachers this year. And so what I would encourage is, like, if you know even some basic symbology of astrology, that you go on to any one of the websites, my favorite's astro.com, to look at the chart for when your child goes back to school, and you can kind of glean what kind of year it will be by, the start time of the school for the year, and see where the energy is. And Venus is in Libra, so that's really great cooperation right now, with a little bit of stress over strong desire for freedom and to call your own shots. That's the Uranus and Taurus. So, as the year goes on, the moon by progression will get into Libra from yesterday's start time. So it's going to be a little bit more relaxed as the year goes on, for those who started yesterday anyway. And let's see, so Mercury direct, like I said, Mercury goes direct on Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And Mercury direct, again, cooperation with children, cooperation with creativity, finding your creative voice, and also romance. We love romance, taking risks in romance. And so if you've been waiting for that special someone to ask you out, more opportunity for that to happen. And then really quickly, because Mercury and the Sun are both in Leo, and this show is about Leo, Sun, and Mercury, Leo is just really the concentrated energy. It's an energy of generosity, gambling. It's about leadership. It can be a little excessive around bragging or being more of a arrogant expression. So you've got to watch that, especially with Mercury and Sun together. And it isn't necessarily something that Leos are always aware of. They just they're kind of status oriented. So you may hear them talking a lot about the goods and the luxury items that they've gleaned in their life and point to their accomplishments through the jewels and the beauty that surrounds them. It is the sign of Leo, the lion, the royal energy. So, it's larger than life and wanting to really strive for that luxury feeling. And so we've got that energy coming out in us and probably wanting to spend more than we really should. So just be aware of that, especially especially closer to the weekend when Moon is in Sagittarius and Mercury is then direct and they're cooperating. So we're going to want to spend more money on eating out or luxury items, things like that coming up. So anyway, there are your Leo planets in a nutshell. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to take calls. So if you want to call in, the number is 347-994-3365, and I'll take your call. Oh man, I love that song. That was amazing by One Eskimo, and that is probably the quickest way for me to get happy, let me tell you. Anyway, go check them out online. They have a video that goes with it. They have a whole animated series for this album they did, and it's really awesome with the little Eskimo. So it's very cool. Anyway, my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. It's good to be with you today. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio, and we are going to continue taking callers. So let's continue the second half of the show and take callers. How about that? Anyway, let's see who we have. 561. Hi, who is this? Hello, 561. Are you there?
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Who is this?
I muted myself. This is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. Good to talk to you today.
Hi.
What's up? You're the second Stacy I've talked to today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have a business dealing with another Stacy at a meeting this morning. So, two Stacys. Yeah, so what can I do for you?
I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know the word. It's like nothing is going right, and everyone seems to get on my nerves.
Yeah, you mean like Mars retrograde? Uh-huh. That's what that is. It's Mars retrograde and probably a little hint of Jupiter coming in on your natal Mars, because Jupiter wants that freedom, wants to just express, and it's really deep feeling, and your natal Mars is, wherever your Mars is, that's where you want to act out, and where you also can be agitated. So that's for you right now, too. And because Mercury's retrograde squaring by sign to your Mars is at 20 Scorpio and Mercury is at around 12. So they're about 8 degrees. So it's a wide square, but it is still effective. So, let's see what else you have in your chart. Oh, you got Venus conjunction right on your Pluto. That probably also triggers some deep need and desire for change. And also because in your chart, Moon and Venus are in Libra, going through the house that is about spirituality, higher education, travel. It's the Sagittarius house. So it's wanting to move on or move past something. And it also
Mhm.
relates to relationships for you because it's Libra, it's in Libra. So for you, that cooperation is really like you're getting a burr under the saddle, so to speak, about like, I want something to change for myself. I want to learn and grow and take action. And your action planet right now, Mars, is retrograde and it's in your first house. So it's affecting you in your sense of self. And unfortunately, Pluto is just inside the rising sign. So it's about 5 degrees into your house of self. So that's also retrograde right now, agitating you. There's just a lot going on, not just for you, for everyone. All the retrograde planets are what make us feel like we're spinning our wheels, and each one is an area of our lives. So currently you've got Mars, which is taking action in your sense of self, retrograde. Pluto making major changes around who you are, retrograde. Saturn in your 12th house, also in Capricorn, wanting you to get deeper intuitive understanding about the path for your life, for your career, and what psychological things you have not been really looking at. It's bringing them up for you. It's bringing up those fears. And for you, it looks like Jupiter right on your rising sign means a huge part of your sense of self is you need to be moving and fluid and change structures. And it could be expressed through changing jobs or changing careers, but you need to keep moving and keep active. And that
Right.
energy is being kind of thwarted right now with Saturn, Pluto, Mars all close to that planet for you. The good news is that Jupiter is going forward and it's in positive aspect to Saturn right now. And it's also a positive aspect. You're in a Jupiter sextile, which means that Jupiter in the sky is 60 degrees away from your natal Jupiter within 1 degree. And it's cooperating, saying, okay, you want to do something and move forward. This is where you can do it. And for you, there is a career aspect to moving forward. And because they're only 5 degrees apart, the transiting Jupiter to your natal Mars, they're both in Scorpio in your house of career, so it's going to want you to change your career and go more with what makes you passionate. And I'm assuming you're probably already on that path, but because Saturn, Pluto, and Mars are retrograde, they're pulling back some of the energy and making it feel like it's not cooperating. Jupiter will put you physically on a path to take action towards what you need to do. Saturn is going to slow you down by making you look at your own psychology. Pluto's going to slow you down by saying you thought you wanted to change this, but we're going to make sure you really are ready to make that change. Because I know this is a lot of information. I'm trying to give you something that you can really use. Pluto
Yeah.
is that great shift that basically goes into your psyche and dredges up all the things you threw in a closet. And Jupiter, which is right on your horizon, I wish you could see what I see. So your chart, you have 14-degree Capricorn on the horizon. That's your rising sign. So that number, that planet, that sign and the symbol are where 9 would be on a clock. And right above
Mhm.
it at the same degree, 14 degrees and 15 minutes is Jupiter, 14 degrees and 17 minutes is your rising sign. So literally Jupiter just came up at the moment of birth. So you were born under a lucky star, and it means you have a tremendous ability to create and manifest what it is you want to do. You take the action and then it happens. That's your nature. But because Pluto is like a big old wrench thrown into the spokes of that process, it's not letting you just quickly move through things and manifest that. It's saying, well, let's go look inside your mind. Let's go dig up what makes you you. What are those hidden things that you are not wanting or have never looked at before? You know? And so that's what's slowing you down. And honestly, one by one, the planets will go direct. Saturn is going to be Saturn and I think Mars goes direct at the end of them. So Mars is first at the 27th, I think, 27th, 28th, and then Saturn goes direct on the 6th of September. So both those are about a week from a week from slowing down and digging in before they go direct. So this is really the last part of this particular aspect. Saturn will do it again, but Mars won't. Okay, so once Mars goes direct, we're all going to feel good relief, because that means now we're going to fly out of that structural energy into ideas and really feel a lot more been released from this energy. So if we could just make it to when Mars goes back into Aquarius, which is the 12th of September, you're going to be okay. It's really like the last bits of this. Yeah. Pluto itself is not going direct for, let me see. I haven't really looked at how far, when it goes direct, because it's so far out, but it's like the 1st of October. Okay. So you still have another month and a half before Pluto goes direct, but Saturn is going to help tremendously, because Saturn is career, and that means that things are going to flow better and flow more in alignment with what you truly want. And for everyone, this is really a time to decide, is it the time, do you really want to go forward with the project, or are you still wanting to go back over things? And I can tell you the answer is yes, you want to go forward with the project. This is kind of like the universe going, okay, this is the button, I'm going to push it. Are you sure you want me to push it? And you're going, oh, please, would you just push it already? When Saturn goes direct, Mars goes direct, that button's getting pushed, and your life is going to go forward. But it all means you got to own what you do and all the details. That's Saturn. Okay?
Okay.
Does that help at all?
Right.
Long-winded.
It totally helped, because I thought I was just being,
No, you're not. No. So this is kind of your great illustration of what I say. Like when I talk about these, it's kind of a general conceptual way of talking about astrology. But when I actually get a person I can talk to about their chart, it clarifies it more in real world terms. So it's like, no, people are acting this way. Like, so even if you want to assign a planet to a person, you have some kind of authority figure giving you a hard time about, maybe, like, this is just an example. Saturn, the 12th. The 12th house is very laid back. It wants to go into emotion and psychic ability and intuition and the watery side of things. Saturn in the 12th wants to get everything structured, but Neptune, which rules that house, wants everything very relaxed and without boundaries, because Spirit is trying to bring in information for you and wants to give you more understanding and knowledge in a very subtle way. Saturn is saying, well, we don't do subtle. We want very clear cut, organized, labeled, do everything like a closet where everything is where you can find it and you know exactly what you get when you walk in. That's not the nature of the 12th house. It wants to be very intuitive and subtle. So when you're dealing with Saturn through the 12th house, you're kind of having this battle between wanting to have things very fluid and relaxed and having things very structured and aware. So when Saturn goes retrograde in your 12th house, you're having to go back over the reasoning why things are. And that doesn't really go well with the 12th house. It doesn't reason. It just intuits. It just knows. So you're having to kind of justify your processes right now. And that can be frustrating, especially with the retrograde Saturn. And it also can appear in your world as a person who is taking you to task for not doing things in a structured manner. But that isn't the nature of the house. So you have to own how you do it. That's what Saturn's trying to get you to do. There will be a person pointing to you and you'll get defensive and get triggered, and you'll go, wait a minute, I'm doing it the way I need to do it. And what it does, all these retrograde planets just makes you dig your heels in further and say no. When you say no, that's not how it is, I'm doing it my way, you have owned your stuff. And then when you own it, then the universe can support you in your path. So right now, with all the retrogrades, really the universe saying, do you really want it? Because once you say, yeah, I want it, this is the way I see it, then you're not putting it outside of yourself anymore. It's not somebody doing it to you. You're not being victimized. And it isn't about blame, but it can seem like blame when others are telling you. They point their fingers at you, say, you need to do this. And you're saying, you'll get defensive and say, no, I don't want to listen to you because I don't want you to tell me what to do. And then you're kind of sidetracking your ownership. When you say, yes, I actually do want that, but I'm owning it. You're not telling me to do it. I'm taking it on as my own. That's when you've made the shift, and that's when things can really come into your world and go forward. And that's when Saturn goes forward. You're like, yeah, I own this. And then your world opens up and gets better, and the structures can start to manifest. Does that make any sense to you? Not that it isn't nonsensical, but not everybody understands the conceptual side of what I said. So, yeah, so that's what's going on right now. Is you're just having to really go over all the things that are your own personal fears, and the environment showing you by blocking you, by obstructing you. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's going to get better. It'll get better. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, Stacy. I hope that helped. Take care. All right, bye. You're welcome. Okay, let's take 863. Hi, 863. How are you?
Hey, Shelley?
Yes.
Hello? Hey.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, it's Beth. How are you?
Beth, I got you right here. I'm good. I'm good. What's up in your world?
Oh, God. Well, I could relate to everybody who calls and says it feels heavy. Everything just feels heavy right now. So I'm ready for it to just not feel heavy. So the only reason I called really was to anything that jumps out at you that looks like it's headed in a good direction or anything I need to stay away from, just let me know.
Okay. Well, directions are Mars. See, this is what happens when you do intuitive astrology is you can say dates and places and times, and then you forget them a minute later. So let me look at when Mars goes direct. Yes. I just said this, and I'm like, I don't remember what I said. So, yeah, hang on. You just throw it in there. I think it's the 27th. I said 27th. Yeah, 26. Okay, so August 26th, Mars goes direct. It is at your midheaven. It's only 4 degrees off your midheaven. You had it going into your career house, and then it retrograded right back into your 9th house. So for you, it's about teaching, instruction, growth, and because Capricorn's in your house of education, and I vaguely remember talking to you about this, I don't know for sure, but are you a teacher, or do you have some teaching aspect? You're going to take a class or something? Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to, I want to find out. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am not a teacher, and I have I've thought about a lot of different things, and really most of what I've thought about is just learning more about astrology. So things that feel so confusing to me and won't direction, I would be able to do it myself, you know?
Okay.
So that's the only thing.
So awesome. Okay, so what's going on in your chart towards that end is that Aquarius rules your midheaven, and that's your career and your fame point. So when I say fame, it doesn't mean you're going to get famous necessarily, unless there are other cooperative aspects, but it means that the spotlight's shining on you around your career, around your purpose in life. And Mars going direct in Aquarius, which will happen fairly quickly, let me just look it up. I do this to myself. I mentioned something, then I can't rest until I look up the date and tell you when that is. And I've said it already in this podcast, but the 12th of September. So what happens is Mars, when it goes direct, will start to move over that midheaven because it's, like I said, it's only 4 degrees away from going over the midheaven. So it's going to go over your midheaven at 3 degrees and 28 minutes, which is the 25th of September. Once it crosses that threshold, Aquarius rules astrology. So if you are interested in doing something around astrology, you're probably going to feel more driven to do that after that time and throughout late September and early October. Saturn will not do something as far as like if you want to earn a living at it. When Saturn gets into Aquarius, you can do it. That's January of 2020. So it's a little ways away, and the thing is, having Capricorn is very practical and can be bogged down in details. And sometimes the Capricorn energy doesn't always understand concepts when it comes to learning something like astrology. So Mars in Aquarius is going to help you. Saturn in Aquarius is going to help you. But Saturn in Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn can bring you down sometimes. That it may seem foggy, like it's just not happening for you. I would say if you're looking to learn astrology, you definitely need something that gets you engaged with the process. That means physically doing something. So for you, I would recommend finding someone who can teach you in person so that you can see the chart, you can understand in person and take action. Like, okay, let's draw out what's going on. Let's place the planets on the wheel, because the physical taking action will help it process in your mind better right now. Okay. And yeah, so let's see, positive. What else positive? You've got Venus in the house of love and romance. So you can bring someone in. And again, when Mercury goes direct, that's a really great time for you, because then Mercury will literally be in sextile to your natal Mercury in Libra. And then Venus will join up with that pretty quickly, like I would say about a week. And so in a week is when Mercury goes direct. In a week is when Venus joins your Mercury. So there's an opportunity. And are you working now? Do you have a workplace environment?
I work alone. I have my own business. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, anything you can do to get out. Okay. Well, getting out of the house or getting out of the usual rut, so to speak, like, oh, I go here every day, I go there every day, I'm always by myself every day. Out and about, do something to express your work environment out, because Venus is going to join with your Mercury, so that's talking with someone else. It's talking with someone else about what you can do to operate. It could also mean that there may be a partner for you who can help you do what you do. And it's also going to give you an opportunity it'll give you an opportunity for more work and an opportunity for more friendships. And if you're looking for romance, an opportunity for romance. You also have Jupiter moving forward, and it's only 2 degrees off of your marriage and partnership house. And just inside that is Neptune in Scorpio, and Neptune is your dream. So that can also expand the opportunity for an ideal marriage partner coming in, or someone who will balance out your life. That being said, a lot of energy is there around, well, you got a lot of romance and you got a lot of business. So I'm guessing that if you get out for your business, it's going to find someone else who may also come into your world. But you got to take the action to do it. Okay. Yeah, and Mars in your house of career coming up, like I guess your midheaven, is also going to give you the desire to have multiple careers or multiple people, anything with multiple. It's going to make you want to get going with things and do different things. It's not going to be a digital routine. So that's going to really help you over the next couple months, because Mars, I think, is going to go fairly quickly through that energy. It'll get into Pisces in November. So you just have till November to really utilize Mars in your career. And then when he goes into Pisces, then it kind of comes back down into the watery realm. And even though you actually have Saturn in Pisces, which is your career, and it's all in your Aquarius house. So that's when it's really going to be like, I need to do this. That's when the astrology stuff is going to become more intuitive. So it won't be as bogged down for the practical, and you can start to integrate more of an intuitive insight into astrology. If you really do it, Saturn in the Aquarius house in Pisces, you'd be a really great ear for people. You would know people intuitively, and you also start to channel information to give them if you wanted to do it and change career to do that. So.
Interesting. So now I just have to have somebody like you teach me.
I know. Are you in Florida? Are you in Florida?
Yes, I am. I'm in Central Florida.
Central Florida. So am I. So are you? Well, I tell you what. Contact me privately, because we're running out of time. Okay. Contact me privately, and maybe we could meet, and I could do a private lesson with you if you want to do that, and we could kind of get you off to the races, so to speak.
Yes, that would be awesome, actually. So I will do that.
It is. I know I've talked about this for a few years. It is on my list to get an actual class online together, people. And I do have my book. My book is with 2 different publishers. I'm waiting to hear back. So as soon as I hear back and can get that published, if I don't hear, I'm going to do maybe more publishers, and if I don't hear back, I'm going to self-publish it online and put it. Well, really, my goal is before Christmas, so people can get it before Christmas. But there will, and it goes through a lot of the astrology, and a lot of what I say is in that book. So anyway, it's just a matter of having the time to do all this. But anyway, yeah, contact me privately. You can get me at Shelley@astrologerangel.com, or you can get me on Facebook at Astrologer Angel also, and my website, Astrologer Angel. Okay? So thanks for the call, Beth. Okay, take care.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You're welcome.
Have fun at Taylor Swift.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll be over there in Tampa. Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to take one more quick call. And those who are listening on phone will probably not hear the end of it, but you can hear it on archive on iTunes. But anyway, hi. Let's see, 818. How are you?
Hi. Hey, I'm great. Hi. It's Diane.
It's Diane. Hi, Diane. What's up?
What a great call that was last time. Oh,
yeah.
my God, your last caller.
Fun.
That's cool. She matched you so well. So what I was going to say was, do you have my chart?
I do, right here.
Do you see a marriage? Do you see my guy us getting married, even though we live like we're married? Do you think I will have a real ceremony?
I do, because you've got Mars just literally just entering your house of marriage now. So what's going on right now for you, because Mars is retrograde until the 16th, so 2 more days. I said 16th, didn't I? Gosh, why can't I hold that in my mind? The 27th. Okay, so.
Oh, it's the 27th. Okay.
Yeah, 13 more days, I think. Hold on. Okay. I want to triple check because I just said it 3 or 4 times. I cannot retain 19th. That for some reason.
I
did too. Or 16th. I don't know why. No, it's actually. Let's see, July. I know what's confusing me is it went into Capricorn on the like Sunday night. So that's what it is that going in, changing signs back into Capricorn, and then it goes direct 2 weeks or 10 days after that. So it does go direct on the 27th, or not direct. Geez, can you tell I think it's time for a break. And so when Mars goes direct, what it's doing is it retrograded back in to the very cut of your marriage house, and then when it goes direct, like I said, at the end of the month, it'll go back into house of marriage. Mars taking action. It'll hit your north node. Right now, you've got north node and south node exactly opposite of your natal north and south, so it's balancing you out, and Mars will hit that. So it's like a portal of fate is opening up for you. And then when Mars goes into your commitment house, which is the 23 degrees of Aquarius. Let me just look that up for you real quick here. It's going to be November, beginning of November. I mean, if you guys want to do it, it's going into commitment. It would be like around Thanksgiving. Like you could have a Thanksgiving ceremony when families together, or you decide then. And when Mars goes late Pisces, 19 degrees Pisces, then it hits out of your commitment house and goes into trouble, which would be a really great time because Mars will be on your Neptune at last degrees of commitment, and that's like the ideal partner. So,
and what's the date again for that?
Hold on. Yeah, so Neptune will be going direct at that time. Mars will hit Neptune. It's the 19 degrees. I'm just looking up. 16th of December. Honestly, Christmas would be phenomenal for you, and then a honeymoon. I'm getting chills for that. Then a honeymoon after, because then Mars will be in your house of travel. So it's like hitting the marriage partner or the ideal Neptune. So Mars hits transiting to the last degrees of commitment, and then moves into the house just past it, which really matters. So you have a ton of energy going on in that area of your chart, saying something can happen. Absolutely.
I'm so happy I shared this with you because I haven't asked about it or thought about it, but I think about it, but at our age, who knows if, but I'm ready.
Right.
I think it would be
Well,
fine.
the end of October, Jupiter goes right on top of your natal moon in Scorpio at the last degrees of home and family. So that's like also an old story around commitment shifting and changing, and then it goes into Sagittarius. You definitely have some shift on play and fun and travel and romance. So it's kind of like,
cool.
Commit or move on. Like, oh, dude, come on. That's kind of the energy of your chart. It's like, what you gonna do? It's time. I mean, it really is like a culmination of the story.
It's true, though. It is time. I've known him so many years. Thank you, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Have a great
My pleasure.
weekend. I love you so much. You're such a devoted,
so
conscientious, hanging in there, gorgeous girl. Love you.
Oh, you're wonderful,
bye,
too,
lady.
Diane. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Okay, take care.
You.
Have a great week. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the show, and we'll see you again next week. Excited to talk to you then. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.